there, troopers. This is Random Game Channel. Welcome, and it's good to see you. So today, I'm gonna spend some time, kind of going over the Guardian gameplay tips. This is going to be version 2. So, for those of you that are new to the channel or returning, I'm going back to my old gameplay tips and primers videos in preparation for the October 11th, 2024 release, and just kind of checking things out and see what I can do to have them up to date in preparation for that. So yeah, let's just talk about the Guardian. So for this Guardian class, you can kind of think of it as like the tank for this game. What do I mean by a tank? So what this class offers you is that you're going to be playing as a character that has a lot of HP. It's going to have the most HP compared to any of the other classes here, at least as of this time. So you get the highest health pool, and you get this cool activated ability called Siege Mode. So with Siege Mode, what happens when you activate it is that it deploys this shield wall in a circle around you, right? And then when it's deployed, it helps to reduce the weapon recoil, and it increases your defense even further, so you mitigate the damage that's coming in. And the cool thing is you can crouch behind it too. So if like a gunner bug is attacking you, this is a bug that shoots projectiles. So if that bug is shooting at you, you can just crouch behind the shield, and the shield will take the brunt of the damage for you. You should also know that this shield wall is destructible. So after a while, after it takes enough hits, it'll just be destroyed. So let's kind of keep that in mind. The last cool thing about this activated ability is that if there's like some bugs within a couple arms length away from you, when you deploy it, it'll knock the bugs back, and any bugs that do get knocked back will get stunned. So that's pretty cool. It's a nice way to kind of bully the bugs a little bit. You just need to kind of time it right. It might be a little hard at first, but once you get the hang of it, you're gonna have a ton of fun just like knocking things back. Okay, so moving on to the next part, I just kind of want to take a second and talk about the class progression and the items that you can unlock. As you can see, I haven't unlocked everything yet because I did the re-enlistment. When you re-enlist in this game, you're gonna lose all your item progression, and you kind of start over again. Kind of like the Call of Duty games. And let's just kind of take a quick look at the kind of things that you can unlock. So at level 1 you don't get anything, but at level 2 you get the machine gun. Level 3 you get the bug pheromone perk. 4 you get the synthetic under armor. 5 you get the magazine bandolier. 6 you get the shock grenade. 7 you get the emancipator. So for those of you that have played CS 1.6, this is going to be the equivalent of a deagle. This thing's pretty powerful. At 8, you get this super large, cool looking weapon, E-Pulse 88 CSW. 9, you get the shock field device. 10, you get the cluster grenade. 11, you get the hardened ceramic plate. 12, you get the utility satchel. 13, you get the deployable shield. And at 14, you get the regenerative matrix. But then at the last level, 15, you get the coolest thing ever, the portable sentry turret. So don't worry about, not knowing what any of those things are. Totally okay, because I'm going to go over that stuff over here in this section. Okay. Also, extra tip, if you want to rename the class, you can do this here. So that's just something cool, just in case you didn't know that. And before I move on, I forgot to mention that you can track your class level here. So this is going to be separate from your overall rank, which you can see in the top right. But let's just go over the weapons. And let me grab some water. Alright. So by default, for this class, you're going to have the Merida Mark 1. That's going to be your first weapon that you have. You don't need to do anything special to unlock it. It's there for you by default. And then, like we saw in the class progression, you get the Merida Mark III Saw, which is the large machine gun. And then the E-Pulse 88 CSW. You might have noticed here that I have 3 additional weapons that are not, traditionally unlocked for this particular class. You're probably wondering, well, random game channel, how did you do that? Let me tell you. So each weapon, when you click on it here and you click on progression, you'll notice that it has its own separate XP tracker. So once you finish leveling the weapon, each weapon will have level 10 as of this recording. You get to unlock it for all the other classes. So the requirements for that is that you just need to level up the class to the correct level that you would normally unlock these in. So that's how you get to use the other weapons in other classes. So, if you're just wondering how the heck I did that, that's how I did it. Okay. So for the default weapons for this class, though, the Merida Mark 1, that's like your basic assault rifle. It's a good, reliable weapon that you can use time and time again. It's pretty handy. I really like using it. Admittedly, I like using it more than any other weapon because it's like the iconic weapon that you see for the movies, right? So that's just my opinion, though. You don't have to, stick with this thing. But yeah. In each weapon, of course, you'll get its own set of unlockables, but we won't go over that here. I believe I have a completely separate video for that, which you can check out, and if I remember to, I'll link it in the description. The next one here is the Merida Mark III Saw. Now this thing's going to be a pretty good crowd control weapon. Compared to the Merida, oops, if I click, okay, you'll see that the damage is going to be a lot higher than, say, Merida Mark 1. So with the Merida Mark 1, you can see that you're dealing 52.5, but with the Saw, you'll deal out 65. Of course, with a large machine gun like this thing, the kickback is going to be really high compared to the Merida. So recoil is pretty tough to control. I recommend practicing with it. Don't give up if you feel frustrated with it, because this is a pretty cool thing to use. Next one is the E-Pulse 88 CSW. As you can see, when we compare them, the damage is significantly higher, the stagger is significantly higher. Stagger is when you stagger an enemy, it causes them to stop moving and recoil backwards. So this thing is pretty high. The only thing is that it kicks you back a little bit, like it knocks you back because the recoil on this thing is like so high. If you stand still and like you're not braced in the siege mode or you don't have an object behind you, you'll kind of notice that it does kick you back a little bit. Now, with these E-Pulse weapons, what these things offer you is that there's like kind of a trade-off. Like you can only shoot things at mid-range, but what this thing offers you to kind of like beef up the weapon is that it bypasses bug armor, and I believe that it can over-penetrate and hit something behind the bug. So, you know, if you like that, totally use it. It's a fun weapon to use. Typically, they do reload a little bit slower than some of the other weapons, but you know, that's just something to keep in mind. So, big, tanky class with a lot of health with the biggest weapons. Let's go into secondaries. So, right now, you're only going to have access to the Peacemaker and the Emancipator. So with a Peacemaker, it's not going to perform very well at like mid to long range. This thing's only really useful for you know, things that are like pretty close to you. Compared to the Emancipator, it shoots like, you know, less damage than the Emancipator does. Let's see. So it has a stagger, and the Emancipator doesn't. But there's like this hidden attribute for some of the weapons. For example, the Emancipator has this thing called stun. So what stun is that it causes the bug to stop moving completely for just a few seconds. So what stagger is that when you're shooting at the bug will just kind of recoil and move backwards a little bit. It doesn't last very long, and only lasts as long as you're shooting at it. Compared to the Emancipator, like, this thing will just like make them stop running at you. Like, cause the bugs do charge and lunge at you. This will cause them to stop doing that. Stagger doesn't really do it as good as stun can, but you know, play with whatever you like. So with the Emancipator, it's gonna be hitting a lot harder. It's gonna have a longer range as well. So if you want a hand cannon, this is the one you want to go with. Okay. So that's all there is for the pistols. And let's just kind of go into the utilities. So with the utilities, you get 3 of them, right? First one being the shock field device. So what this does is, when you activate it, it kind of deploys this electric, like, shock field. It looks kind of like a net. And anything that enters that area will be stunned. It's only going to last for 60 seconds and 7 meters wide. But when they do get stunned, they're going to be stunned for 5 seconds. Enough time for you to, like, you know, kill those bugs, right? Next one is the deployable shield. This is just a little tiny wall that you can put up. I don't know how durable it is, but I've seen it take quite a few hits and still stands. So you can get a max of 3 out, but if you go back and reload on this in the ammo crate, you can have a total of 6 up at a time. The last one is the portable sentry turret. So this thing is pretty cool. It's just like a little turret that you can throw out in the field, and it'll target any bug that's within 35 meters of it. And then when it's empty, it just blows itself up and hopefully takes some bugs with it. So there you go. I think you can also have two of these up at a time. Any more than that, and it'll just like self-destruct. The grenades. First one you'll get by default is going to be the MX-90 grenade. So with this one, it's a good, reliable grenade that you can use again and again. When you throw it, just keep in mind there's a 3-second fuse timer. So if something's running at you pretty fast, kind of throw it a little short and kind of like gauge how long it'll take to explode when you throw it. So it does a lot of good damage. The range is pretty good. I like using this one a lot. The next one is the shock grenade. You can kind of consider this one as like the stun grenade if you played, Call of Duty before. It doesn't deal any damage, but stuns the bugs pretty good. So anything that gets stunned, I'll just, stop moving for a few seconds, right? So this one's pretty cool. I like using this one too if I want to be more of a support role. The last one is the cluster grenade, or I like to call it a discus grenade because it's like a disc and you throw it like the discus or whatever that thing is from track and field. So with this one, the blast radius is going to be a lot smaller, but you get several pieces, as this thing breaks apart. So it's pretty cool. It has a pretty good coverage because it breaks up into smaller pieces, and it also stuns the bugs as well. So, pick whatever grenade you like using the most and play with it. Remember, use whatever you think is going to be fun. Alright, so let's get into the perks. So with bug pheromones, you will attract bugs to you. So this is going to draw aggro. So if you want to pull bugs off of other people, have this equipped. Synthetic under armor. So what this does is that any melee attack that you suffer from a bug, that damage will be halved. It'll be mitigated by like 50%. Magazine bandolier. This one's cool if you just want to carry more ammo on your body. That's the thing you want to use. Hardened ceramic plates. Similar to the synthetic under armor, except that this is for ranged attacks. Like for example, if a gunner is shooting at you, it'll cut the damage by 50%. Next one is the utility satchel. If you have this perk equipped, you'll get +1 to all your utilities, so that's pretty cool. Next one is the regenerative matrix. This one is really nice. So it just gives you an extra health pool that regenerates. You just gotta keep in mind that you need to be out of combat for this to start regenerating. It's similar to like your personal shields if you ever played Halo. It's like that. Oh yeah, so what this looks like, if you look at the bottom left corner where your health pool is when you're playing a game, it'll have like this blue bar around it. That's the indication of the regenerative matrix. So yeah, pretty cool. I like using this one a lot. Okay, so that was the perks. So yeah, let me just put on this little gameplay video I have for you, and we'll go over some of the other stuff I wanted to go into more details with you. Okay, let's take a look at some of the other extra bits of information I wanted to share with you about the Guardian. So the first kind of tip I like to share is the class ability. Now, I kind of mentioned stuff about this already. I mentioned that it can knock back nearby bugs and stun them. But what you can also use this for is that when you see a downed trooper, you can deploy this directly over them. This will allow you to safely revive them um, because the shields will take the damage for you if bugs are attacking you. So you can like get in like the big group of bugs and then activate the ability and you'll send the bugs flying. It'll buy you enough time to revive them if you don't have a first aid stim. Also, if you deploy the siege mode and you're using the ePulse 88 CSW, you'll have immunity to being knocked back from the weapon. So something kind of nice. Okay, moving on to the second tip. How to choose the best weapon for you. Okay, so this is my take on it. It's just my opinions. But, hopefully this will help you choose which weapon you want to, use the most, or maybe it'll help you find one that's suitable for what you want to do. Okay, so the Marina Mark 1. This is a nice balanced weapon. The recoil is very controllable. Damage is pretty decent. Not too many bad attributes about this rifle, so if you want something that just works, this is probably the weapon that you want to go with. Now, if you want to be like Rambo, you can go with the large machine gun, or the saw. So with this thing, compared to like the Merida Mark 1, the magazine capacity is going to be a lot higher. So if you just want to, shoot out all those bullets at those bugs, this is the one you want to go with. Just keep in mind that the weapon recoil is going to be significantly higher. So if you're having trouble aiming with it, I suggest crouching and or doing aim down the sight and constantly try to aim at the bugs, at the bottom of the bug's legs. That way, when the weapon does kick up the recoil, you're going to be hitting the torso and hopefully you'll hit the weak point. So if that doesn't really sound appealing to you, you could try the ePulse 88 CSW. This thing packs a heck of a punch. It can ignore bug armor, and anything behind it, there's a good chance that you'll hit that bug as well. The only downside with this weapon is that it does take a little bit longer to reload, compared to the other weapons, at least in my experience. But when you use this one, you're gonna notice like this thing packs a heck of a punch. So hopefully that kind of helps you choose which one you think will be the most fun for you. So hopefully you find something that works. Moving on to the third tip. If you want to be like this tank that draws aggro and can support other troopers, well then check this out. Of course, these are just suggestions. You don't have to go with this. It's just something maybe you might find fun to play as or play with. So for a role where you want to play as support and draw aggro, you want to equip the bug pheromone perk. This will draw the bugs towards you. And then to kind of keep yourself alive, you want to equip the regenerated matrix, which is the extra health pool. And then you want to equip the synthetic under armor, which I think was the one where like it halves, or like it mitigates 50% of the melee damage. The next thing you want to use is the sentry turret and the shock field device. So the sentry turret will draw bugs in towards you because it's going to be attacking bugs. And anything that gets close by, you can shock them and kind of trap them with a shock field device. And I believe the best crowd control weapon for this class would be the saw. So definitely you want to consider using that. And then for the grenade, you might want to consider using the shock grenade because that one's going to stun a bunch of bugs. Okay, so that's my suggestions if you want to run as a more supporty type of build. The next one is what's this now? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is gonna be tip number 4. Breaking the arachnid assault. So when a large wave of bugs is running at you, you kind of want to spread your shots out across the field. Because you want to, stagger and stun them, depending on the weapon that you're using. You want to slow their advance. And this class should be able to do that fairly reliably, either with your primary, your secondary, or in combination with those and the sentry turret. You'll just be dealing a massive amount of damage that way, and that'll hopefully slow the bugs down a little bit, right? But if they're getting close to you, you want to try to throw the grenade a few paces in front of them, because each grenade typically has like a few second fuse timer where it explodes. So throw those grenades out. Hopefully it slows them down even further. And if they get super close, well, that's when you'll deploy the siege mode and you knock the bugs back and stun them even further. So yeah, that's it. Moving on to the last tip. This one is becoming a mini medic. Well, you're probably wondering, what do you mean by that, right? Well, let me tell you. You can kind of become like a mini medic when you load up on a bunch of first aid stims. Of course, this is gonna entirely depend on there being a medic or a first aid stim fabricator. So if you're just wanting to help revive people, then you might want to consider these suggestions. Have You can have 0 utilities equipped and just load up on a bunch of first aid stims. So anytime that you have an open utility slot, it's going to be filled with the first aid stims. If you happen to pick those up, you can carry a max of 3 per utility slot. So you can carry up to 6 total. But then you also have like this last utility slot specifically designed for the first aid stim, or for any other utility like the scan beacon, the heal beacon. You have the extra slot just to carry those items. So if you want to get even more first aid stims, you can load up on that too. So you should have a total of like 9 first aid stims. So I think you could reliably be a mini medic because your health pool is going to be so large, right? If you equip the right perks. So if you want to go down this route, being kind of like this medic kind of thing. You can equip the regenerative matrix. You can equip the hardened ceramic plates, and you can equip the synthetic under armor. So with those 3 perks equipped, it should give you pretty good health coverage, so you don't just die in one hit. And go in, deploy the siege mode, knock the bugs back, revive that trooper, rinse, repeat. So yeah, something you can try if you want to be a medic. Well, that's all I had for the Guardian. Just quick, brief conversation about what it does, some gameplay tips. Hopefully that helps you out. Stay tuned for additional content that's coming out soon. I'm Random Game Channel, and I'll see you in the field, troopers.
The wave is destroyed, but the bugs are regrouping. Build back up and rearm for the next assault. You only have 10 seconds until the horde arrives. Get moving. This is Pyre. Sensors are indicating the bugs are regrouping and sending out a new wave. Orbital signal booster location has been designated. Secure the signal booster. Warning. The base is under attack. The base is under attack. Emergency. The local base has sustained critical power damage. Construction
My troops paid for